Hello, this is John from VectorZero, and today we're going to be taking a look at the signal editor in RoadRunner. To get started, I'm going to create a simple intersection, and we'll use that for creating various signalizations. Next, I'm going to hop over to the Signal tool and left-click on this junction. You can see the automatically created maneuver roads here, and we'll use those to define what maneuvers are active in a given phase. Down here is the signal phase editor, and over here we'll get various options for the signalization. To get started, I'm going to hit Auto Signalize and choose a four-way protected left. Now you can see the phases that have been created for us. You can left-click on any of the phases to preview it, or use these tools to cycle through them, or left-click and drag on the timeline to scrub through. You can click on any maneuver road and set its current state in this phase, for example, setting this to go always. Alternatively, you can right-click on them to set it to go always, or press delete to set it to its default state. You can add a new phase by right-clicking out here. You can delete a phase by pressing delete with it selected, or you could duplicate a phase by right-clicking on one. If you left-click on one of the phases, you can see its various settings. You can give the phase a name and see the 3 default intervals. You can set the interval type and how long it will last. I'm going to delete that again. To clear all the signalization, you can either one by one remove the phases or select the junction and press delete. As part of this example, let me create a different type of a four-way protected left, and I'll do this one manually. To get started, I'm going to right-click here. You can see that everything's been set to its default state of stop. Next, I'm going to simply right-click on the straight and right turns opposing each other to create the first phase. Then I'll right-click out here and right-click on these left turns to create the first part of this protected signalization. I'm going to add another phase and do this for the opposite direction and right-click out here. As you can see, we've gotten a four-way protected left. If I want to make this a little bit more interesting, I can duplicate this phase, click here, and maybe set these two now to be yield. Now when I scrub through, you can see that by default they're yield. Those turn yellow, but the straight and green remain green, and then it'll switch to solid left. Though you probably wouldn't see a signalization like this in the real world, you can create very complicated signalizations to test with. Next up, I'm going to delete this and open up the assemblies folder. You can create assemblies of various types for signal poles or stop signs and yield signs. You can use them by having this selected. In this case, I'll do a protected left. And when you auto-signalize, have automatically place selected prop selected, and we'll attempt to place your props in a reasonable location for the signalization. You can now see that the signals and the signal heads automatically light up to correspond with the maneuver roads. You can click on any of these signal heads. In this case, I'll hit F to focus on it. You can see in more detail as I scrub through, as the lights turn yellow, green, and red to match. You can control this by setting the signal variant, which I'll discuss briefly in a little bit. And then you can set explicitly what configuration that signal head is at any given interval for the current phase. So in this case, this is green, the yellow interval will be yellow, and the red will be red. For all the other cases, this remains red. If I scroll down to my props and open up signals, I'll scroll down to one of these signals, and you can see the actual signal asset editor. Here's where you can set up the various variants, which correspond to the type of signal head this is. For example, this is a left turn signal head, and then its various states, which is, for example, a ready state, off, yellow, and green. As you can see when I scroll through these, you can see what types of turns are enabled with this state. can create a new variant by pressing the Add Variant button, and you can remove them with this button. Each variant has a supported turn type, so you can check which ones are active, and then a set of states, which you can add and remove here, and say what each of the supported turn types are, what their state is for this given state. So for example, when this is green, both left turns and U-turns are green. If you click on any of these bulbs, you can scroll down and set whether the bulb is active in this state, and select the type of bulb for this variant. If I enter the prop point tool, I can drag in another signal head and place it anywhere in my scene. And if I go back to the signal tool and have this selected, you'll notice that I have this point available. I can either choose to add it to the junction, or I can press Auto Detect Signals, and it will automatically attempt to map my current signal to the signalization. In this case, you can see since this is a left turn that I dragged in, it automatically mapped it to the left turn of this facing maneuver road. That's the basics of the signal editor in RoadRunner. Thanks for watching.